Started whipping everything, so. It is 7 PM, we'll start the meeting. Call the meeting to order with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Cody, would you do a roll call of the board, please?
Supervisor Monty.
I am here.
Treasurer Rogers is excused. Trustee Lannon.
Here.
Trustee Lay.
Here.
Trustee Over.
Here.
Trustee Faring.
Here.
And Clerk Cody, I am here.
Very good. Happy to entertain any motions regarding the agenda. I hope everybody noted that there was an update to the packet late, which is not, it's atypical to say the least. But I'm happy to entertain any motions.
Move to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion by Oliver, support by Cody. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approval is unanimous, and we actually have a presentation this evening. A little early in the year for us. Yeah, I like it. Sally Barnes from Yo and Yo, would you like to say anything on this?
I would, prior to Ms. Barnes coming up. Our presentation, FY '25 audited financial statements, Ms. Ollie Barnes will come up in a moment. I just wanted to note that I'm very happy to be able to report, and you noticed it, that the audited financial statements have been released a good 6 weeks earlier than last year, and I've been pushing for that for a while, and I think it's just wonderful that we were able to do that this year. The information is more current. You know, when I first started here, we were getting this presentation in June, and here we are in April, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Feedback. But at any rate, this past weekend I sent you out electronically copies of the audited financial statements, along with the single audit that was required this year, as it was, I believe, last year, due to the federal funding that we've received for water improvements. In that email, and I'll note it tonight also, that we did end the year, general fund was under budget by a little over $600,000, but at the same time, 2 departments within the general fund were over budget. The accounting department, which was a result of accrual of payments to the Woodhill group that we're using for financial services, as well as the building inspection department. We had some invoices. We've been working on a digitization project for several years. Contract was approved with the vendor recommended by the state. We were a little over budget in that department as well. That prompted a request from the state Treasury Department for what's called a corrective action plan. That letter was in the packet, or in the email that I sent you over the weekend, along with the corrective action plan that has already been submitted. It was due sometime later this month, but it's already been submitted to the state. I'd also like to particularly thank Miss Hannah Lynch, our accounting specialist, who is here tonight, Mary Ann from the Woodhill Group, that has been our acting finance director for some time now, and then all the staff that contributed to the completion of the audit. And it took all of them to get it where we can receive the presentation tonight. So with that, I'd like to introduce Allie Barnes, managing principal with Yo and Yo, who will give us a presentation tonight. So thank you, Allie.
Thank you. All right. So fiscal year 2025, we issued an unmodified or clean audit opinion. So that's the one that you want us to be giving you. It means that we have considered all of the rules that you're required to follow for governmental accounting, and believe that what was presented was done so fairly in accordance with those rules and with materiality. You got it. Okay, we're going to talk about a few of the funds here first, and then we'll kind of talk about internal controls and compliance. So here you can see information for the general fund. Gives you kind of your 5-year history of where your dollars are coming in. So for FY 2025, total revenues were about $3.6 million. You'll see that that was an increase from the previous year, and the majority of that increase is related to spending down that original ARPA grant, not the one related to the water project. So that larger bar that you see for that, the second from the top, will be going away next year unless you surprise me and have some other federal revenue in your general fund. On the expenditure side of things, that totaled $2.8 million for the fiscal year. You'll see here that expenditures increased pretty significantly from the previous year. However, in that black bar at the top is going to be the offset of the ARPA revenue. So you can't record the revenue unless you have the expenditures, and that's where the expenditures are kind of on this chart. So for the most part, the black boxed area will end up coming off next year as well, putting you pretty consistent. Fund balance is in a healthy position. So you ended the year with about $8.37 million in total fund balance. The bottom section there in blue is going to be your unassigned portion, which was just over $7 million. And then you do have some amounts that are considered assigned fund balance in that second box up. In total, it's about $1.1 million. The majority of that relates to your FY 2026 original budget and what you anticipate maybe needing to spend out of the general fund for that fiscal year. Of course, that can always change and usually does as the year progresses. And then also within that category was $375,000 set aside for the Mission Creek Trail project as well. So healthy fund balance. The line across there that you see is when we take the ratio of your fund balance to your total expenditures. So you can see that's sitting at around 300%, which is kind of one of those reasons that it's a little frustrating that you receive letters from the state regarding what seems like tinier budget overages that were previously brought up and have to supply a corrective action plan for, because you were under budget in total and you have a very healthy fund balance. So we do understand the frustration with receiving those letters and having to supply corrective action plans. All right, moving on to the fire fund. Here we can see for the last 5 years, for the most part, your total cash balance and your fund balance has been trending upwards, while your expenditures have remained relatively consistent. So you ended the year with about $1.9 million in total cash in that fund and about $1.6 million in fund balance. And expenditures have been hovering right around that $800,000 mark. Obviously, you know when there's a need for a new fire engine, though, and there's going to be a contribution that will have to be made. So, not excessive fund balance in that fund by any means, considering the fact that that future capital outlay will be significant. Moving on to the enterprise funds, we'll start with the water fund here. So this fund the last couple of years has started to look more unusual, even though it's very explainable what's happening here. So the blue bars are your total revenues for each fiscal year, and you'll see that those have increased significantly the last couple of years. So this year ended at about $8 million, Whereas your total expenses in the other bar have held relatively consistent, so about 2.2 million this year. What is not on here for you to see is how much went into capital outlay. Because in this type of a fund, when you have capital outlay, you don't show it as an expenditure. It gets moved to your balance sheet and depreciated over the useful life of those items. So for 2025, about $6 million was put into total capital outlay. So if you add that kind of onto those total expenses, you can see that what came in, 8 million, is about what ended up really going out. Just different accounting methods used within these funds. And then within that fund, working capital has still held very strong. So that's where we take your total current assets less your total current liabilities to see what's kind of there, not necessarily for operations, maybe for operations, but what could you use for some of that capital outlay. So that was about 5 million. Okay, the sewer fund is a little more consistent for you. Total revenues here were about 3.7 million for the fiscal year versus about 3.3 million in total expenses. So bringing in more than's going out. This fund did not have as significant of capital outlay, but there was about $100,000 moved to your property and equipment on your balance sheet. And then this fund also ended the year with a good amount of working capital, about 6.4 million. All right, then we're going to change gears and talk about internal controls and compliance. As was mentioned, there was a single audit this year due to the level of federal expenditures. There was just over 6 million in total federal expenditures. We took a look at one federal program, which is going to be the Drinking Water Grant Program, where the majority of the dollars are being spent, and within that program we did not find any internal control issues or any non-compliance kind of issues. So that program is being ran well, the rules are being followed, good documentation is being maintained. Really appreciate everyone that gets documentation around for a request for that. Sometimes we have to ask for unusual things to make sure we're checking the required compliance requirements. So that's kind of the single audit piece. And then overall, we take a look at internal controls and various state compliance items. And within those areas, we also did not have any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or other non-compliance items that needed to be put in writing. So the team is doing a really good job making sure they're following as many of the rules as they can and maintaining good internal controls. Some things were kind of changed up this year. It's nice to see that maybe some more duties are being spread out and other people are being brought into kind of the accounting process and having a role in that. So I think that's a positive change. We did have just one management comment, and this relates to written policies and procedures. So the uniform grant guidance, which is kind of the overarching guidance for the federal dollars, does like certain things to be in writing. And so within your policies, there are some outdated references to the specific rules. So it used to be called A133, which isn't really a thing anymore. So we're just recommending that some of that language gets updated so that it says uniform guidance instead of A133, just so you're kind of with the times from that aspect. And then there are also some items within the procurement requirements that the uniform grant guidance likes in your written policies as well. So we've covered those with Mary Ann, and so I think that's something that will be addressed this year. Not huge significant finding kind of an issue, but something that, because it relates to federal dollars, we want to make sure is at least in a management comment so everybody knows it's something that should get updated here at some point. And with that, I can take any questions.
Can we go to the sewer page?
Yeah.
So you describe, and I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit on the water fund. You articulated how expenditures for capital projects go to our assets, so they're not necessarily reflected on this graph. So just looking ahead, I'm anticipating potentially next year, this board is looking at the possibility of bonding sewer project. So how is that presented then? Is it, that's kind of off this graph too, because part of it goes into liabilities, part of it goes into assets? And
Yes.
so that's kind of not here either?
Right, so when you bond within this fund, when those dollars come in, so if you were in the general fund, that would be bond proceeds, and you'd see that
Right.
through the revenue side. But in this fund, it's gonna go straight to your balance sheet as a bond payable. And then when you spend down those dollars, instead of it going on the expense side, it's gonna increase your capital assets. So when that happens, then you're gonna have higher capital assets and higher long-term liabilities.
Yeah.
So it'll gross everything up on the balance sheet, but kind of skips the income statement piece.
And as you depreciate those assets, then hopefully your liability is coming down with it.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Comments? It's nice to see a clean report.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great to be here early. The team did just an outstanding job. When they said they were gonna go about mid-February, I was like, oh, I don't know, it's pretty early, but we can certainly try, and it worked out fabulous. Hannah did an awesome job, Mary Ann's great to work with, so looking forward to a repeat of that. It's a good time to just get it done, be done.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Props to our finance department.
It
I-
took
especially-
a huge collective effort. I will say that you guys were awesome at working with us. We asked multiple staff members for information and feedback on what we were getting, so I appreciate everybody being so willing to like jump in and help out right away. We'd ask and we'd have something right back, so.
Yeah, I had imagined that with the transition we've had, that it might have been more difficult, but here you come in earlier than normal, so fantastic.
I just note that when things end up so well, the presentations go pretty quick. And it is real nice, real nice.
Thank you again for your presentation. Okay, moving on. Public comment is restricted to 3 minutes regarding items on this agenda. If anyone chooses to address the public, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, we'll open up public comment at 7:18 p.m.
Hello, I am Andrea Croft, and I am on the agenda for the fitness court mural. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I have some information about the designs, and so I don't know if I should I can wait and talk about that later when that's on the agenda, or I can give a little bit of information now. I guess I'm not sure.
Let me get a sense of what does the board prefer? I'm okay with either. Why don't we wait till,
Till it comes up.
unless you have plans this evening?
Nope.
Okay,
I'm fine.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
There are a couple people on here. I don't have anyone raising hands.
Okay, just note there are some remote connections. We'll give just a minute for their opportunity to raise their hand. Seeing no digital hands coming up, we'll consider public comment closed at 7:19 p.m. That takes us to report boards and comments. Current list of boards and commissions. I don't really have a lot there. EDA is the one that I want to keep lifting up. If you have any ideas of somebody that might want to serve on the EDA, it's a great board. You get to work with Rodney, so. Anything else on that? In your packet is the Planning Commission Annual Report. Did you have anything that you want to put on that? Everybody had a chance to look at that. I'm sure we'll cover that some more when we get to our combined meeting on April, I'm going to have the date wrong again. 15th. Board member reports. Trustee Therian?
Thank you. I attended a meeting at the city. Actually, we had the meeting at the Mount Pleasant Police Department on High Street. It was a group of the board, or the commission, along with a lot of staff at the city, and they were discussing their goals and objectives. It a gentleman kind of facilitated, or kind of reminded me of like what we have done with Sue Radwin. So it was really, I enjoyed the meeting. They talked about community connections, financial stability, technology, efficiency, workforce, and advanced infrastructure projects, talking more related to 2027. And it was just really nice to see the interaction from staff talking to the commissioners on kind of how things are and how things could be improved and what things are doing really well for them. They talked about some of the challenges, which is people, you know, when you have to replace someone, there's significant, it's not just cost, but it's in other ways experience, when you lose experience. They talked about developing SOPs, operating procedures, processes. They talked about their servers, grants. They talked about grants. Kind of like very similar to the conversation we had with the last board. When we talked about trying to take advantage of everything we could, but it doesn't always, you don't just want a grant just for the money, because it's a process. You have to have it be specific, and the accounting end of it, and if it doesn't really fit very well, it does you no good. Really, that was about it. They broke up into groups at one point in time and discussed those 5 things that I had mentioned about community connections and financial stability. And then each person, each staff member that was kind of in that department, a couple of commissioners went to each one, and they just kind of talked about it, and they brainstormed a few ideas of what they could do, or what they like, or what to expect. It was just kind of a neat meeting. Like I said, it was very similar to what we've had in the past with Sue Radwin when she would come in, or we actually, the last time I think we did it was on when we were virtual with Sue. Although we've had plenty of opportunities to go attend her her class. But it was great.
Great. Wonderful. Clerk Cody? Trustee Lay?
Nothing.
Trustee Lannon?
Yeah, thanks. I had an opportunity to attend the Isabella County Board of Commissioners Finance Committee of the Whole meeting on March 31st. A few of the items that came to the board was included a consideration of a physical plant upgrade at the Commission on Aging in the amount of nearly $230,000 for replacing rooftop units for HVAC. Yeah. Secondly, also looking for approval is a grant for a local artist to do a mural that would be placed out at the Coldwater Lake campground facility. And that mural would actually be movable. They would take it in the winter months and try to lengthen the longevity of that mural. For consideration also was to accept a grant for recycling education in an effort to try and understand what citizens know about recycling and try to understand what they would like to see in recycling. And so that money will basically be used to develop a survey to go out to the citizens. They will hope to be moving Miss Helen Lee to be seated on the Heartland Materials Management Planning Committee. She is one who regularly attends the meetings, and it was a logical choice for them to select her. And kind of interest and a big dollar value was considering to approve a inter-fund loan in the amount of up to $1 million from the general fund into the delinquent tax revolving fund. And they had worked out the loan interest rates and all that, and what that does is it keeps all the entities whole who would be receiving taxes through that delinquent tax revolving fund. And that was the meat of the meeting.
Very good. Trustee Olver.
Nothing to report.
I was trying to think of the calendar in my head. I believe it was reported last time the EDA did not meet this last month because of no quorum. I think that's a common occurrence this time of year because of the makeup of the board. So many are snowbirds. They tend to go somewhere warm during these months. So I'm just trying to lift up the open spot on the EDA board again, really. A double plug. With that, consent agenda, item 10 on the agenda. Happy to entertain any motions.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Cody, support by Therin. Who had the warrants?
Yeah, I came in this morning and went through those, and everything looked real good.
Well, good. And note, something a little unusual in this is the truck replacement. I'll just comment that I was thrilled with the price that the township was quoted. I would love to get a pickup for that. I've been looking. Anyways, we have a motion on the floor to approve consent agenda as presented. We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on that?
No.
All in favor of approving consent agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes unanimously. That brings us to our first new business item, resolution to approve to enroll a 40-acre parcel of vacant ag land north of East Deerfield Road, south of Whiteville. Mr. Stuhldreher, would you like to introduce this, please?
Thank you and good evening, everyone. There's a report from the administration on page 38 of your agenda packet, and we're asking the board to consider approving an application by Mike and Jamie Klump Holdings LLC to enroll a 40-acre parcel of vacant ag land on the north side of East Deerfield. It's east of Whiteville, enrolling it into the state of Michigan's Farmland and Open Space Preservation Program. The state runs this program. I think the board has maybe dealt with one, maybe two of these in the past. But the State Department of Agriculture and Rural Development runs this program. It allows for land to be voluntarily placed in this program, and in return, the owners receive certain tax-related benefits, not property tax-related, but income tax-related credits, that type of thing. This property is not currently served by municipal water or sanitary sewer, and it is located within an area designated on our existing master plan as the future land use map as rural preservation So this fits within that future land use map very nicely. Under the state program rules, the local governing body, in this case the Board of Trustees, you have 45 days to consider and act on the application. If approved tonight, the application would then go to the state of Michigan for final approval. Again, as part of the rules, the application has been shared and is required to be shared with Isabella County, as well as the local office of the Natural Resource Conservation District for their review and comment. That has been done. No comments have been received by either agency. I believe the term of the application where it will sit in this program is 10 years, I think. So it's not into perpetuity, but it is for 10 years. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have. So thank you.
Any questions? Motions?
I'll motion to approve the request by Mike and Jamie Klump Holdings LLC to enroll a 40-acre parcel of vacant agricultural land, PID 1402930000500 on the north side of East Deerfield Road, east of South Whiteville Road, into the state of Michigan's Farmland and Open Space Preservation Program.
Support.
Motion by Cody, support by Lay. Comments, questions again? I'll just add, my first reaction when I was going through this was what was the future land use, and as our manager mentioned, it fits within our master plan. Most of this area down here is what I'll call rural preservation, even though that's not what our master plan calls it, but it's intended to preserve that agricultural districts. So I'm certainly in support of this. Anything else?
I just mentioned that these folks have 4 parcels in front of the county for a similar motion.
Good to know. Are we all quiet this evening? Well, anybody not clear with the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to item B in our new business. Request for board approval of artwork submitted by local artist Angela Croft for the new Jameson Park Outdoor Fitness Center. Mr. Stuhldreher, I'm sure you want to say something on this.
Thank you. The a report begins on page 52 of your agenda packet. The board approved the installation of a new outdoor fitness court at Jameson Park in a year ago anyways. And as part of that, as part of the scope of that work that was part of your approval, it included the inclusion of optional customization of the court through the use of a local artist. We did something similar with McDonald Park several years ago, and that resulted in the wonderful mural that we see there that faces Pickard, and then some of those panels are also on the opposite side of that structure there. Similarly, with Jameson Park, we partnered with the Outreach of Mid-Michigan, who helped issue what I'll call a call for artists to submit artwork for potential display on this fitness court. Ms. Croft was up here a few minutes ago during public comment, and as part of the presentation, we'll have up on the screen, I believe, the artwork, so you'll be able to look at it. What we're asking the board to do is choose the artwork that will be displayed. And I know that can be kind of challenging for a lot of people to agree on art, but it should be also kind of enjoyable. In your packet, there are two pieces of artwork displayed, and we refer to one as, and you can see the words on it, Stronger Together, and then the other one is Train, Gather, and Grow Community Artwork. Those are both displayed on page 55 of your agenda packet. And there's also reference in your agenda packet that if the board should choose, you could also use the artwork that exists on McDonald Park, duplicating it on Jameson. It is an option. I'm not sure I'd choose that option, but that's up to you all. And then subsequent to this agenda packet being put together, Ms. Croft had some conversation with the tribe, and they have updated, or she has updated, based on their input, the Stronger Together banner that you see on the top there. And when you scroll down to the next page, you'll see that same Stronger Together language, but the artwork is, there's more art on that banner. And so we wanted to bring that to your attention as well. Apologize that we didn't have it in time to put in the packet. But so you have, I'll say, 4 options to choose from. McDonald Park, what's there. The item that is in your packet titled Stronger Together, shown on the screen at the top. Also, the Train, Gather, and Grow banner is right below that. And then a Stronger Together version 2, if you will. Once the banner is chosen, it'll be put on heavy-duty vinyl. It'll be wrapped around the structure exactly like they did at McDonald Park. All of these displays meet the guidelines that the National Foundation has as part of the program. And so be happy to answer any questions. Ms. Croft is here to explain some of these, which might help you in your deliberations. And with that, I'll leave it up to you because I'm not sure there would be any questions for me. So thank you.
Thank you. So we invite Ms. Croft up now, but if there are comments or questions you feel would be helpful to address first, I guess I'm looking for input from the board. Seeing none. Really glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
I wish I had some of your talents.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I'll just go through a few things about these designs. For one thing, I'm working on some illustrations for a children's book, so I actually ended up doing more of a stylized look for the people on the last design. It was a little bit more, it was stylized also, but it was more realistic in proportions. So that's why these ones are a little bit more illustrative looking. So first off, my name is Andrea Croft. In the agenda, it's Angela.
I noted that.
So just a little note there. It's Andrea, and you may have heard also. I sometimes go by Annie, so it's probably very confusing now because you're getting basically 3 names. But my name is Andrea. Okay, so the Stronger Together design includes a kind of a landscape design, and it's kind of playing off the last design, which also included a landscape. The updated version, if you want to go to the more updated version, that one has, like you can kind of see that it's like the Chippewa River is kind of in the background there, but I also added kind of like some city a little bit in the background to give us the idea of just this whole area, not just the nature portion. Let's see, we have, you can kind of see there's like these ribbons that kind of come out and it kind of encircles the whole thing, kind of going with the stronger together concept, that everything's together, but also that we have nature and we have, like, that kind of comes out of the Chippewa River and then it kind of turns purple and kind of goes back up into the sky, so it's kind of like all encompassing. I think I tried to do a variety of just diverse people, so young and old in that picture, also different abilities, and then I did go and meet with a couple people from the tribe. It's something that you do sometimes just as like, it's called a sensitivity check in illustration. When you check if it's something that's outside of your culture, then you want to check and make sure you're doing things in the right way. So they wanted to add the man having a ribbon shirt, which is part of their culture, that is worn at powwows and ceremonies to honor heritage. The oak tree on the side, that was in the original one also, but that also carries significance as like the tree of life. Birds are important, but I also added kind of a dove, kind of symbolizing peace, and like, I mean, the stronger together was also kind of a play on like the fact that it's a fitness court, so like stronger, like both ways. Strawberries are important in Native American culture. They're vital nourishment, but they also represent love, reconciliation, and renewal. The tobacco flower is in one of the potted plants down near the bottom, and that is part of the Saginaw Chippewa tribal logo. And okay, the other design is more of a, if you scroll back up to the other design, it's kind of like a combination of just a lot of drawings. I'd call it kind of like a doodle design. So that one it still has the same ideas. That one would need to be edited slightly because the ribbon shirt is not in that one yet. Also, there are the 4 windows that will, I think that's what they call them, like the 4 parts that are on the opposite side of the mural. And those 4, I would also edit to go along with whatever one is chosen, basically. That way it corresponds. So I can do those designs in a way that matches whichever one is chosen. And of course, I can still edit these. I drew these all digitally with my Apple Pencil, so they can still be edited. Let me see if there's anything that I'm missing. I think that's it. Are there any further questions about this?
It's beautiful work. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah. Glad to be here. Thank you.
I do appreciate your comments about the conversations you have with tribal members, as I was kind of curious as to their input as to why. So I appreciate the background on that. Clerk Cody?
Like, I really like the first one, but could you change like the shirt in the first one? Like, to make the tribal shirt with the stripes on it?
Yeah.
Like, if that one was chosen.
I guess I should also say that I did include a baseball and a baseball bat in all 3 of those. And it's just kind of a nod to the fact that that is part of because you guys are taking out the baseball part that's there. So it's just kind of like noticing that there was baseball. It's part of the history. And so there's just like a baseball and a baseball bat and all three of those. So that is in there. But yeah, I can change anything. So the first one is basically just a more simple version of that third version. That's all it is. So.
Trustee Lannon?
So, from my perspective and opinion, I really like the second one, train, gather, growth, and community. And why I like it? First of all, I like your very thoughtful approach to both or all four of the pieces of art that you put. But what I like about the second one is I feel the energy of an exercise part going on. There's a lot of movement in that bottom one as you look at the lines that are emphasized. I like the various perspectives, an overhead view of the river into the canoe being one perspective, where most of the other perspectives are going to be from more of a normal point of view. I think it gives a sense of rhythm, movement, vitality. I think about when you exercise, you tend to get more of a hard, loud beat going, and I feel that in that second picture. The first picture to me is quite melancholy, very nice to look at, but I don't get the sense of an exercise facility with that like I do with the train, gather, grow, and community, and it just represents an awful lot in there with animals, exercise, community going on, togetherness, and the canoeing, the sun, and it's just kind of simple. It's kind of like a bunch of one-line standalone things going together that appeal to me in this. Just my thoughts there.
I'll, just because of your comments, I was initially drawn to the first one, and I'll use different words than you probably because it's art, but I think you said melancholy. I was thinking more peaceful, but I had the same sense as well that the second one seemed to be more geared towards activity, a little bit more energy to it. I liked the first one a lot because of the simplicity of it. So I was attracted to that one more, but I definitely agree with your comments that the second one has a more of a athletic feel or activity feel to it, if that makes sense. And then seeing the third rendition, which is the second of Stronger Together, it adds some of that busyness that first turned me towards the simplistic portion of that, but I really like the additions that are here. As our manager said, it's art. We all appreciate it differently. Others?
I like that second one. I think it, to me it says habits, good habits. You train, gathering with people is a good habit, growing is a good habit, community is a good habit, eating, activity, the different people are all good habits of being part of that.
What changes did you say you were going to make to them, Andrea? Or to the two?
Yeah, so to that one, I would just have to change to make sure that the Native American man is wearing a ribbon shirt. So I think that was the main change that needed to happen in that one. Other than that, there were just some, there's just like a few minor details, but yeah, mainly that.
I like the second one too. Okay, so nerdiness here. I agree with what Tim said. It's much more dynamic. There's a lot of movement going on, whereas the other two, the first one's a little more static than the other two. The third one is more dynamic than the first one, but I really do like the way the repetition of the red, like with the tomatoes and the watermelon and the strawberry, it makes your eyes travel, across it. So it makes you interact with it in a more dynamic way.
When I interviewed for this position in December, I did not see this one coming. Apparently neither did you, because nobody asked me for my opinion in art. I think they're beautiful pieces, and the township will be very fortunate to have them on display.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One more comment I'd make, if could be an option, an addition to the train, gather, grow, and community, that would also be honoring our tribal neighbors. And you could incorporate like generally a young gal or older gals as well, but like in I'll call it a jingle dress, in a dance movement, motion, how that's always a big part of the powwows that go on in the community. Could be another activity.
I could certainly add that.
Just an idea. That needs to be, but
Am I hearing some consensus at least? Since I picked, when we just had these two plus McDonald Park, I don't think we should duplicate what we already have, as much as I like that there.
yeah.
And that one's very public facing, as you can see it as you drive along Pickard. This one will be less obvious to the public in cars. I think my inclination is I like the third one best, but I like them all enough. I could be supportive of number 2, which is what I think I'm hearing from most of our board
I
members.
think they're all great. I really
It's
do.
really,
win-win.
yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
pick.
So you just, which one sticks out to you the most?
So I could certainly support a motion for the second item, train, gather, grow.
I like the fact that it's action words too. That really, 3 of them are action words. Train, gather, grow are action, and then community is what comes out of that. I like the messaging.
I have to wonder what it's like to be an artist and have people critique right in front of them.
It's actually really nice because I did this in college, and you don't often get opportunities to have people critique your work. So it's actually extremely helpful.
Well, I would like to make a motion to select the train, gather, grow community artwork from the submittals by local artist Angela Croft.
Andrea.
Or Andrea, rather. For the new outdoor fitness court studio project in Jamison Park.
Support.
Motion by Lannon, was you on support, Oliver? Support? Any further discussion on this?
I want to clarify. If I may, I heard a couple, and it's not in the motion, but if you want any changes to it, you should make it as part of your motion. And I've heard 2 maybe additions or changes. The existing representative of the tribal member in the one that's under motion, changing that shirt to a ribbon shirt, and then maybe, and I'm not sure if this had consensus too much or not, but adding another figurine or whatever you might want to call it, I don't know, to that banner where a tribal member would be outfitted in their regalia. And I think I heard that. So I just want to make sure that the motion is what you guys want. So
I would support the clarification of the ribbon shirt. I'm not sure about the additional idea without consulting tribal members for the cultural aspect.
That was actually one of the extra ideas brought up if it fit in. So
Very good.
it actually could be added. They were supportive of that. But they also said it didn't need to be in there, but it could be.
So presumably it would replace something in there, or you're going to somehow fit a
It-
6th or 7th
yes,
person in there?
It could replace someone. I mean, it would. I would have to take something out to put it in. So I could put it in place of the lady doing yoga, or
No, I like that
I
one.
like the yoga lady.
Yep.
That's like,
so.
I'm drawn to that one.
And I like our differently abled person too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could. I mean, I could play around with it, and I can also send. I can send Mr. Nanny some examples of what it would look like, if that would be helpful.
We do have time, if you'd like to see it again with it updated. We have time for this to be a decision that where you look at the updated version at your next meeting, or whatever. Even at the early May meeting, would still be time for the fitness court folks to be able to do their work.
I think it looks great with the way it is, but with the shirt changed.
I agree.
I
think
mean,
so
it
too.
has a lot in there. It's really good.
There is one more option. I could, as one of the windows, I could have one of those window designs be the lady dancing.
Okay.
And then that way it would kind of cover everything.
And perhaps a cat. We have a dog, but cat lovers in the community may
Oh,
be.
right. I'm sorry.
I think there's a
yes.
bunny in here too. On the
Was there a bunny?
I can, okay.
So I'll attempt to amend my motion.
Oh, the bunny's on the book.
All right. I
support that as a cat person.
So I'll amend my motion to read, I'd make a motion to select the Train, Gather, Grow community artwork from the submittals by local artist Andrea Croft for the new outdoor fitness court studio project, with the modification of a ribbon shirt on the Native American represented person in Jameson Park.
Everybody get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Support.
All right, so any other comments on this? Support.
They supported the changes, so we're good.
Okay. Anybody, nothing else? All in favor of anybody not clear on the motion? Because I'm not going to read that back. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Andrea, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you.
here and being willing to listen to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That takes us to item C on our agenda, which was an addition. And I'll just let you introduce this.
Thank you. This report for this agenda item appears on page 67 of your agenda packet. I do recognize that it was a late agenda, and I don't know that adding something this late has occurred maybe more than once since I've been here, so I'm very sensitive to what I was asking the board to do and consider. Thank you for at least allowing it to be on the agenda. This has to do with our Eagle Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, State Revolving Grant Project. $10.9 million. We've talked about that several times over the last couple of years. And this is asking the board to consider change orders number 5 and 6 with the J.R. Heineman contract that currently exists. And you've also in the past approved, of course, change orders 1 through 4, and much of that is trying to spend as much of the free state money as possible while we continue to operate, of course, within the project plan parameters that the state approved. These your original contract with J.R. Heineman was approved in October of '24. That was for $3,941 and some change. To date, you've approved change orders of a little over $1 million. So the total contract right now with the firm is $4.9 million and some change. This does not impact the overall budget of the project. That still remains at $10.9 million. The change order number 5, the detail is in your packet. The net amount of the change order, because there's some additions and subtractions from the existing contract. That net amount is adding $68,000. Change order number 5, and that's primarily due to the generator. We've moved it at the time we put the generator in the contract. We weren't exactly sure of the location, and with the location comes concrete pad, electrical to get it where we want it to be. Change order number 6, that on a net basis is adding $150,000 to the existing contract. That is for the installation of approximately 300 linear feet of 12-inch water main. And that water main would be located on the property where the Isabella treatment plant is, and that would create redundancy, which would provide additional reliability in terms of how we get water from the various wells into the treatment plant and back out again. If these change orders, but both these change orders have been reviewed and approved by Eagle, and if the board were to approve these change orders, we'd still have approximately $256,000 of funds remaining within the original $10.9 million that, as I've said before, we're looking to this is all free money, and it's non-taxpayer money, it's not ratepayer money. So as long as we can identify improvements to the system that fit within the original project plan description that is reviewed by Eagle, in our minds is why not execute these additional improvements while we have the free money. So that's what's going on here. Be happy to answer any questions you have. So thank you.
And the urgency of the request is to keep the project on schedule, correct?
Yes, thank you. Substantial completion, I believe, is August of this year. All the funds need to be spent by October of this year, which is the end of the state's fiscal year. And by acting on this now, you considering it now, if approved, It would allow the contractor to order the things they need to order, work with their subcontractors to get that built, get these changes built into the production schedule or the construction schedule. So thank you for pointing that out.
What, just looking at some of the details, the filter room, this is change order number 5. Filter room, removal of west wall opening. I'm just curious what that is.
If Ms. Smith could speak to that.
Which one are you looking at?
This would be right at the top of change order 5, scope of services. It's bulletin number 2. First item there is generator, and the second one is the filter room.
Yeah, originally we had, so the existing wall that's on the north end of the big filter room, we had 2 openings there. And after we started construction, we realized we really only needed 1. So because of the way the room's set up, it gave us a straight shot from the door that you go in, and then so they cut a hole in, because they put a whole another section of the building. We only really needed the 1 opening, so we removed the one on the other side. So we got a deduct on that. So that one was actually a cost reduction instead of an increase.
Yeah.
So, because they didn't have to tear the concrete block out, they didn't have to, build the supports and
Gotcha.
do all of that. It actually was a cost savings for us. Those are the kind of things you find as you're going through some of this, the light switches in the wrong spot, and, just, that's a small one, but as you go through, you realize, okay, it was drawn this way, but it doesn't really need to be that way, or it's better if it's this way, and for operational needs. That's what that was.
That makes good sense. I do note that apparently our code inspector had some modifications as well. The blocking, what is that?
That is in the pole barn building that we built. It had to do with the way that it was drawn up when if you recall, we added to that building, and when Larry came out and did an inspection, he wanted some additional blocking, so Heineman did it. That's actually already done. Heineman did that work because it's required by code, so that's what that was.
This just would allow the grant money to be used towards it now.
Yes.
And cover the contractor's costs. Thank you.
And we have been, as Mark talked about, we have been looking for things. We're getting to a point though where it's April and construction's gone well, but we still have a ways to go. So whatever we do from this point on, we just have to make sure we can do it within our time frame as well, because after September 15th, we're done. And we have to be closed out. So, and we're gonna be all right with that. And the largest thing on this that is gonna impact that is that water main loop, which is a huge addition to this project that we didn't think we were gonna be able to get. And they have to be able to order pipe, material, valving, and then they do have a subcontractor that's doing that work. So this allows us to get on their schedule as well.
And that's a big deal from what I'm gathering.
That is a big deal. So instead of having one feed, currently we have one feed that goes from the Isabel treatment plant out the system, out to the distribution system. Not unusual, that's how most treatment plants are. This will give us an additional loop that if something were to happen to that feed, through valving, we can shut that off, work on it, do whatever we need to do, open up the other loop and still feed the system with no problem. So it's a really nice addition that we're able to do that we did not think we were going to be able to do. So we're very happy about it.
Awesome. Trustee Oliver?
Ready for a motion?
Sure.
All right. I move to approve the change orders 5 and 6 with J.R. Heineman for the Eagle Drinking Water State Revolving Fund ARPA Grant Division C Water Treatment Plant Expansion Project in the amount of $218,403.27.
Support.
Motion by Olver, support by Cody. Trustee Lana, did you have something?
Just after listening to the experts in the room here regarding this operation, I'd like to support it.
Any other questions, comments? Anybody not clear on the motion?
No.
All in favor to approve these change orders, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. That completes our new business. Takes us to extended public comment, which is restricted to 5 minutes regarding any issue. If you choose to address the public, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, we will open extended public comment at 8:10 p.m. Let the record note, there's no longer anybody here in person,
There's a couple people online, no hands.
no hands, but we'll give them just a moment. If you would like to be noticed remotely, please raise your digital hand, and the floor can be yours. Going once. Twice three. All right, seeing no one coming forward remotely, we'll close extended public comment at 8:11 p.m. That brings us to item 13 on the agenda, manager's comments. Mr. Stuhldreher.
Thank you. I just have one. The 2026 Care Store Drive has concluded, organized by Amy Peak and Tara Green. Contributions from staff, the community, you all, very much appreciated. That's concluded, and the donations are being delivered tomorrow. So a couple of us will go down there and have a little fun. So, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Mark?
Oh, and a reminder, it was mentioned earlier, the joint meeting next week, the 15th, 6 p.m., Jamison Hall.
Thank you for the reminder. All right, that takes us to final board member comment. Trustee Olver.
Nothing additional.
Trustee Landon.
No additions.
Trustee Lay.
Nothing.
Clerk Cody.
Nothing.
Trustee Thering.
Clear.
We really are quiet
I think
tonight.
we're just all tired.
Everybody's tired. Good.
That concludes our business. We'll adjourn at 8:12 p.m.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.